Folks, we need to talk about real estate agents, how we can work with real estate agents, and how real estate agents could actually supply more value to their clients. There's no question that the real estate market has changed. There are less transactions, somebody called it a transaction crest, but also more opportunity to up level your service. We have the one and only CEO from Henlane, Dana Dunford, to talk about what she is seeing and something she recommends real estate agents think about doing. Dana, what do you got?
Great. Thanks for having me, Michael. So to level set and talk about what happened over the past 5 years, if you were to reach out to your real estate agent and say, I need advice on my rental property, or could you do the leasing? So could you do the showings and help me find and place a tenant? You know, you're licensed for that. You understand fair housing. Would you be able to do that? A lot of agents would say, no, I don't have time for that. Right. And so as a real estate investor, there's certain people you trust in markets to help you grow your portfolio, understand what you need to do. And real estate agents are those who can help. They have a pulse on the market. How much are things going for buying? Will the tenants stay around, or do you think that they would actually purchase a property? All of these metrics are really important for you. And one thing I have noticed, and our entire team talks about it quite frequently, is that real estate agents are much more interested in getting involved in rentals now.
Mm.
And that has suddenly changed. And I can give you a couple of examples of it. Some examples that we've seen is real estate agents reaching out and saying, I can do an assessment on your property, take a look at it, what type of upgrades you might want to do to increase the rent or increase the value. They know because they can look at two properties down the street from each other and be like, this one went for more because it had a kitchen remodel and this one didn't. And those types of things, we never saw that like additional level of service before because agents were just too busy. There were so many more listings on the market. The other one we have found is competition in the market with leasing. So for leasing, there was a lot of agents who said, yeah, I sometimes do leasing, but only for very few clients. Now what we're finding is those agents who would do, maybe 5 leases a year, and they also own rental properties themselves.
Right.
Now they're just saying any leasing opportunities you give me, I'll take.
Right.
And then the other interesting thing about is the pricing of it. Typically leasing is 1 month's rent. We're seeing a lot more competition in that space of leasing agents telling us they can change their leasing. If a real estate investor brings them 2 properties, they'll give some sort of discount. So the market is really changing. And that is where, if you're working with an agent, because you usually want, Michael, I saw this in your Facebook group the other day, hey, do you have a real estate agent on the ground who works with real estate investors, knows them in Denver? That was one of the examples you gave. There's a lot of opportunity to work with those folks, not just on the sale, like the transaction, but thinking of them from a relationship perspective to kind of keep tabs on the market before. And Michael, you tell everyone this, like you need to do your diligence. You need to every day be looking at the market. I'm finding more agents helping with that kind of stuff because suddenly they have more time to be client focused, which, honestly, in the past 4 years, I've never seen it like I see it today. So I think that's an exciting thing and an advantage for real estate investors to consider and think about is really working with their agents to build up that portfolio for them to help them make their real estate investments a success.
I think there's a couple of things I take from that. First and foremost, real estate agents had a couple of good years where they didn't have to do the hard work or the different work or the low paying or whatever you want to call that, right? Leasing doesn't pay as well as selling. But what we are seeing now is when the transaction depression, real estate agents that want to stay in the game are looking for avenues to pay the bills, right? To keep the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is the way to go. And again, I'll go back to Graham Stephan, of YouTube fame. This is how he started. He started in a recession and he was in Southern California. So he didn't want to compete with the agents with Rolodexes. He took the hard work. He was leasing stuff and, he did that to pay the bills. And sure enough, you build up a Rolodex of folks at least, then eventually you get an opportunity to buy or sell and, you go on to bigger and better things. So I applaud people who pivot, change, I think what investors need to hear from this conversation is agents are more interested in working with investors, whether
Mhm.
that be getting leases and being, price competitive, right? Giving a break on two or not. But as investors, be reasonable. Don't ask and don't expect things for free.
Yeah.
They've got to be rewarded on some side. But I think that's a very wise strategy. Real estate agents that pay the bills that get through this transaction crash, they'll be stronger because there'll be less competition on the other side. So I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And so yeah, it's just good for you kind of to think about, especially as you have this portfolio, you're hopefully locked into low interest rates. What can you do on the existing properties, upgrades and stuff? What are agents seeing? All of that, and work with your agent from that perspective. And maybe they'll have a great deal for you
Yeah.
as well in this market.
Yeah, grow your network, grow your network. You never know where the deal will come through. I want to go back to the Denver example. So, right,
Yeah.
you're part of my private Facebook group called One Rental at a Time Works. One of my students said, "Hey, does anybody know anybody in Denver?" Some of my, students responded, but I'm like, "Hey, Dana runs Hemline. Hemline's got all this stuff." So I copied you on it. So I'm curious. Obviously, you gave somebody, which I greatly appreciate. But is that something people could normally expect from Himlane? Let's say I'm using Himlane as a user and I'm in some market. Could they have gone to Himlane and said, "Hey, who are the, I don't know, approved or listed or whatever the right word
Agents.
is,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's such a
agent?"
great question. So we have real estate agents. Yes, we work with over 3,000 real estate agents across the US and that are vetted. And some will, there's internal rankings up to 5 stars for
Okay.
them that we don't actually publish externally, just so you
Okay.
know. And with that, with both the ratings as well as with the agents, we really qualify them on how much they know about rentals and the rental market, and then how good they are with leasing, finding and placing a tenant. We're not in so much the buy sell business to understand the transactions and how good they are there to make sure it closes and things like that. However, what we do say is we never give like one agent recommendation. Usually we give three and say, here are the three agents that we've worked with where we know if they give you a property, and this is incredibly important, especially if you're an out-of-state investor or you're a little bit more passive with the management. They're the types of agents who've also been on the operations side to
Hmm.
know, is this going to cash flow? Is this going to be a non-nightmare type property?
Is
And
it
so
on the right side of the tracks or the wrong side of the tracks?
totally. And so that is actually where they provide the value. So we're pretty transparent about that these agents we've worked with, we've qualified for leasing. They're not, we don't qualify for property management, only for leasing, understanding the market, understanding rental rates, but all of them will do buy sell for investors. We know that. So we say, here's two or three that we've worked with. We want your opinion of what you've, done with them. And then we don't take a cut of that. Like if there's a sale or anything like that, we don't do that. We're just looking to say, hey, did they provide value, and let us know so that we know for other clients in the future. But on our side, our expertise is obviously the leasing and management. So that's really what we qualify for. But I found a lot of those agents will be able to, say, yeah, I looked at this property, and to your point, like it's on the wrong side of the tracks or something like that, because they've been in there, they've done the showings, they know, which ones are going to be able to have those qualified tenants.
Yeah. So again, if you're already a Hemline user, like Dion from Dion Talk uses you because you help him advertise to all the sites quickly, he could, in theory, look in another market if he wanted to kind of start growing his network and find agents and build,
Mm-hmm.
a
Yep.
Rolodex that way. That's I didn't know that was. I guess I knew it was there, but never made that connection. So if somebody wanted to get that trial and see what's what, how would they do that?
Yeah, you can go to hemlane.com, HEMLANE.com. And then if you want to see our agent directory, you should talk to someone internally because we have the internal ratings and reviews. But you go to hemlane.com/agents, and then you can go ahead and also see the agents there.
Very, very cool, Dana. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.